What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about something that has literally changed my life. It's changed the way I do everything, and it's made such a huge difference for the better, okay? And that's how to script your month, week, and day for success. Now, one of the reasons people don't achieve the things they want to achieve is one, they don't know what they're trying to achieve to begin with, and two, they're focusing on all the things that don't matter or don't make a difference. So it's super important to get focused on what you want, but also what you don't want, because you always get what you ask for, even if you don't know what you're asking for. Now, I know it can get overwhelming, but I promise you, winging it is not the best strategy. In fact, I'm somebody who in the past has historically hated having parts of my day or parts of my week, parts of my month, that structure. I felt it was too confining, it took away any spontaneity, but I can say without a doubt, putting structure behind my day, week, month, year, whatever that is, has absolutely opened up so many more options. In fact, it's opened up time that I didn't even know that I had. So whether you think you don't have a lot of time or do have a lot of time, you don't know until you break it down and look at what you have in front of you. So that's what we're gonna do today. A couple things I just wanna pinpoint before we really dive in. Now, one, if you're not doing any of this, if you're not planning anything, you don't have any structure, then you likely have a much less opportunity or chance of success. In fact, these things have been studied, 0% almost. Now, people that wrote down their goals, got a little bit of structure behind it, set a little intention, had a 39% increase. So that's a pretty big jump. Now, people that had somebody to report to on a weekly basis, an accountability partner, coach, or consistently checked back in on what they're looking to accomplish, had a 76% increase. So imagine for a second that if you accomplished 76% of everything that you set out to, any goals, any vision you had, you achieved 76% of the time, you had ultimate success. That would be a pretty big deal. So you can see the value in putting some structure, having some support, having some accountability, and referencing these things on a consistent basis. Now, I will say too, none of this really matters. Writing it out, having accountability, referencing your goals often, none of it matters if you're not really committed. So if you're committed, you'll figure out a way to make this work. And if you're just kind of interested, it sounds kind of good, like it would be cool if you did, then you're only gonna do these things when they're convenient. I can't force you to do anything. No one else can force you to do anything. You gotta wanna do it. As far as where to start, let's take a look. Okay, so we have goals, we have intentions, there's things we want to accomplish, so where to start and how to get focused on them. So one of the things that's been super helpful for me recently is zooming out a little bit so that we can zoom in and get focused. So ultimately, what do you want to accomplish? It can be helpful to look at the next 12 months specifically. So as of this recording, it's mid-August. So by mid-August next year, what do you want to accomplish? Now again, narrowing it down further. For me, finding 4 of the most important areas of my life has been helps me to focus. Now, number 1, health. Okay, I have specific health goals over the next year. So for me, it's maintaining a certain level of body fat, be able to run a mile in a certain amount of time, being able to lift a certain amount of weight, being able to function and move my body at a certain level, at a certain standard. Okay. Now, number 2, personal. That involves personal goals I have. You know, it could be relationship with my wife, making sure that's still a priority. It could be learning new skills. It could be whatever you want. Now, number 3, adventure. Now, this could be vacations, this things you want to experience, different experiences with friends and family, memories that you want to create, getting clear on what those look like over the next year. And then number 4, finances. So how much money do you want to save this year? How much money do you want to invest? How much money do you want to donate? How much money do you want to make? Getting clear on what these things look like over the next year is the first place to start. From there, we can narrow it down to what it looks like on a monthly basis, weekly basis, and then daily basis. Now, again, it just depends on what's important for you. To me, these are some of the, more important things in my life. It's what, creates an overall fulfilling and prosperous life. So I tend to categorize my life into these 4 different areas. So again, now that you have your kind of year-long goal, what does it look like over the next 30 days? So this is a practice you could do at the beginning of the month, each month, and then reassess, each week, and then reassess at the beginning of each month as to what you accomplished. But before we get there, let's break it down a little bit. So financial, maybe it's for the month, maybe it's saving an extra $1,000 to savings, right? Maybe it's paying off a credit card, okay? Now, going through and creating maybe 3, 4, 5 different areas here is all you need to do. You don't want to overwhelm yourself too much. So when in doubt, just aim for 2 or 3. So for space here, I'm just going to put a couple things. Now, adventure, maybe it is, planning a weekend getaway with your wife and kids. Again, adventure is all about the experiences, right? We have to blend and create balance, amongst all of these things. So again, this is just what works for me. But again, plan weekend getaway. We'll keep moving here. Health, maybe it is running twice a week. Now again, you're creating these in alignment with what your overall goal is, right? So if you know that, for example, you want to be a certain body fat, you want to lose weight, then how does this play into that? Now, this specifically doesn't have to, but it could, right? It could be making protein a priority each day, right? So again, all of these are fitting into the grand picture. Now, these alone won't get you there, but as you assess these each month, it'll become more and more clear what the path looks like. So personal, it could be, one for me recently has literally just been practicing discipline. Practice saying no to things that don't suit you. Practice saying no to things that aren't in alignment, okay? So once you've gone through here and put 2, maybe 3 things to focus, or accomplish over the month, then I would go through and create one more thing and put a little star next to it. Something that's going to really push you, something that would be really inspiring, right? So maybe over here, maybe it is somehow making an extra $10,000 that month, right? Something that you're kind of like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but it would be really cool. And then just allow yourself to be open to what opportunities present themselves along the way. Maybe adventure. Gosh, maybe it is going on vacation to another country. It's not on your radar right now. It's not something you're consciously planning, but open yourself up to the opportunity. You never know, right? So go ahead and put something on here that's going to really push you, really force you to grow, really expand your mindset, and then just be open to the ideas. But obviously make these other things the biggest priority, and then be open to these things here. Okay, so now that you have a focus and intention for the month, now let's look at the week. So let's stick with one example for now. Let's take your health, okay? So we know over the course of a year, want to lose weight, keep a certain body fat percent. We know for this month, running, meal planning, those are 2 things that we know are going to move the needle there. So how are we going to implement those things this week? Okay. Now it's important to kind of assess your week as a whole. Like, what kind of extracurricular things do you have? What commitments do you have? Put those on for each day. Then decide based on that, where is meal prepping going to go into the day? Or what day are you going to meal prep? What day are you going to go to the grocery store? By maybe it's Sunday, right? So Sundays are going to be meal prep. Maybe midway through the week, you are meal prepping again. So maybe it's every, Wednesday and Sunday, you're doing some sort of meal prep. At least being intentional with the meals you're going to create. And then maybe you've decided that you're going to run 3 days a week. So maybe you decide running Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, giving yourself a little bit of time there, right? Okay, so now you don't have to think about it. You have structure, you have a framework. There's no, gosh, do I feel like doing it today? Well, that becomes irrelevant. Motivation becomes obsolete because you've planned for it. And again, going back to the beginning, If this is important, if you are committed, then there's no really question on whether or not you're going to do it. It's just how are you going to implement it? And this here, you've got the day set out. You know ahead of time that you've created the time, you've created the space, and these are the days you're going to do that. Now, furthermore, we want to break it down and take the guesswork out from a day-to-day process. Okay, here we go. What time are you getting up in the morning? Okay, so let's say it's 6 a.m. and what time are you going to bed each night? Let's say it's 11 p.m. So you've got between 6 a.m., 11 p.m., and that's your day. Now, what you want to do is go in and schedule the things that you know you are committed to, that you have prior engagements. So for example, a lot of people, it's going to be their work day. So those are non-negotiables. So let's say it's from 9 to 5. So you carve out, you structure in the 9 to 5. That takes away all of that time, right? Now you want to go through and go through your list of priorities. So let's again stick to the example health. If you're making your health a priority and you know you're running today, now you've got to figure out, okay, I've got between that 6 a.m. and that 9 a.m. time frame. Do I want to run then? Now you want to consider to ask questions. Am I a morning person? These are all things you want to consider. You also have between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. So is that going to be time that you want to carve out for a run? You want to consider things like the weather. What do you have? What access do you have to equipment to run? Again, looking at these time frames, it's all about prioritizing those gaps that you have in your day. So knowing that your health is very important, you've got goals over the year, the month, the week, and now the day. So it's about showing up for yourself each day, even when it's not convenient. And again, by putting some structure here, it doesn't matter if it's convenient, it's just what you're going to be doing. So from there, then start adding the other things, add your meals in. Those are obviously going to be important. Quality time with family, those things are going to be important. Now, as you can see, it's easy to fill up your time, but you're being very intentional here, right? And it's not that there isn't wiggle room for all these things. In fact, setting up your structure and giving yourself this framework to work within is absolutely freeing in so many ways, because one, you feel like you're progressing towards a goal, and two, it takes away any of the thought that, am I going to do this? Do I want to do this? You've already set aside the time, you've already set the intentions, and because it's important to you, there's really no need for motivation or discipline in this regard. Now again, the key is going through your day, each one day at a time. That's really all you've got. All you really have is the time that's in front of you right now. And it's just important to remember, given the time I have, what's the best use of that time based on who I want to be, what I'm working towards, who I'm evolving into, and what I have set out long term. You're not going to be perfect all the time. The point isn't to be, just this machine that is on autopilot and has every part of their day set aside. But the whole goal and intention here is to create focus, create awareness around your habits. I think what you'll find is you have a lot more time than you feel, but you're probably not making the best use of your time based on what you say is important to you. So if nothing else, I think you're just going to get a lot of awareness, maybe a lot of eye-opening moments going through this process and seeing like where you spend your time, how you're utilizing your time, and just how that plays into your lack of progress or your progress this far. So give it a shot, take what's useful from it, let me know what you think. I'm excited to see what you create with it.